Join me today for a tour of a beautiful parcel of land in Fort Fairfield, Maine. We will also tour that part of Aroostook County, showing you some of the area highlights. And stick around until the end of the video to see the dangers of selling real estate during a Maine winter. It's no joke. Good morning, Phil McPhail here today, and we're just coming into the town of Fort Fairfield up here in the Crown of Maine in Aroostook County. Today we're going to look at a 45-acre wooded site with about 1,300 feet on this road right here, which will be the limestone road. The property also has about 2,600 feet of frontage on Brook, or Brook, depending on who you ask the name of it up here. This is a nice town. There's about 3,280 people here. This is a border town with New Brunswick, Canada, and just off to the right of us here to the east is the Canadian border, about a mile away, maybe a mile and a half. The Aroostook River runs through the town of Fort Fairfield, and this was the scene of the Aroostook War back in the late 1830s. The U.S. and Great Britain had a little dispute over where this border was, and the old fort was actually built here at the time to protect this area from the potential British invasion. I think only 2 people actually were killed that didn't die from disease or accident, and they were killed by black bears, a couple of Canadian militiamen. A little interesting fact about Fort Fairfield, and we'll check this town out after we go look at this 45 acres of land. Now we're crossing the Aroostook River. Okay, the property is going to start right here on the left, right at the stream, and we'll go walk this property now and check out the stream. This is one access road here, and right around this corner we should have a driveway entrance. This is Brook, where it crosses Route 1A. We're right down the road looking onto the property. So the property is everything to the right of this brook. Brook is the actual boundary line. And here's our road frontage along Route 1A. And it does front on the road here for about 1,300 feet. Okay, we've arrived here at the 45 acres at Route 1A, or Limestone Road, here in Fort Fairfield, Maine. This is the driveway that's near the center of the property. It comes in here, and there's a small building site already prepped. If you want to be close to the road, this is an ideal site. If you want to come back in a little further, which is probably what I would do, we're going to go for a walk and show you the interior of this lot. Well, I wasn't quick enough for the camera, but we just had a grouse come shooting out from under one of these bushes here. Well, he just flew. One of the things you'll notice about this lot is this is early successional forest. It was harvested here a number of years ago, and what you got growing right here is poplar or aspen. That's a favorite of rough grouse. They really do like it. So you got a lot of young trees in here: spruce, fir, poplar, tamarack, or also referred to as larch. Nice piece of woodland. All right, we are standing in the center of the road frontage back in the woods, probably 500 or 600 feet. This is an old farm site. Years ago, this was all field. It's growing back. There was a thinning timber harvest done here, as I said earlier. But if you notice the leads on these trees, the growth rate, because of the quality of the soil in here, is absolutely amazing. Some of these spruce tree leads are 20 plus inches long. It's a pretty good year's growth. So yeah, and this is a good site. Do whatever you want here. If you cleared the trees here, you could easily farm this, as it was farmland before. Right now we've got spruce, fir, and birch. We're standing near the center of the forward portion of this lot, closest to Route 1A, or Limestone Road. And one thing you'll notice, and you'll see over here on this overlay of the soils, NRCS soil mapping shows almost this whole lot being good for farming. This particular area, which is pretty level, is indicated to be Stetson gravelly loam. And about 70% of the lot, of the acres of this lot, are in that soil type. And that's a very good soil for growing just about anything. It's certainly growing trees really well. Potatoes, broccoli, grown up here in Aroostook County in this area of Fort Fairfield, as well as more recently they're growing hops and barley up here for breweries. I'm standing down here on the property line, which is Brook, and not too exciting this time of year. It's mid-March up here in Aroostook County, 10 degrees out right now, and this brook's frozen solid, covered with a lot of snow, and the alder that grows along this brook is kind of fallen over from the weight of that snow. In the summertime and early spring, you're going to find brook trout through this stream. This is a wild brook trout fishery. It's a small stream, great place for your kids or grandkids to learn how to dunk a worm for native brook trout. This does eventually flow out into limestone stream, and that's a bigger stream with some larger fish in it and a little easier to maybe fly fish. Okay, so we're down near the brook. Right behind us here is the brook. This is that, there was a tote road that came in here during the timber harvest. It's growing back to bushes now because it's been a while. You could maybe improve this for access to come in, and there's a nice knoll that runs the whole length of the property here up over the stream. And actually, we're probably above the flood area here. Off in this direction, you can see this was an old farm field. It's grown back to bushes now. But, you know, this could be a potential building site. We're quite a ways off the highway now, so you don't really hear any road noise. A little bit, but not bad. This is a nice kind of a little secret spot back here by the brook. As I was saying earlier, this lot is just covered with snowshoe hare tracks, and here's some more sign where they're eating and chewing on the trees right near the snow surface. This is up here in northern Maine. It gets very cold here in the wintertime. This is snow country, mid-March. Back at our office in Lincoln, the snow's almost gone and we're still on snowshoes up here. Interesting fact about these snowshoe hare, a little disgusting, I guess, but they can survive in the winter up here because they're pretty hardy animals. But they'll actually eat this, and they'll digest this fiber so quick that they'll re-eat their own manure or their droppings a second time to get the rest of the nutrients out of the plants that they're chewing on. Just thought you ought to know that. All right, we're getting back here near the western boundary, almost there. And down here on the stream, I found a beaver dam here on Cloney Stream, or Cloney Brook. I can just hear the water running underneath the ice here, and that's the stream bed there meandering its way back towards Route 1A. It looks like our resident, or one of our resident hares, had himself a little place to sleep last night here in the snow. He may still be in there, or maybe he's down there getting a drink. We're back out here on the road on Route 1A, or Limestone Road. You'll notice that there is electricity on the road here, as well as telephone communications. We're going to take a look around the town of Fort Fairfield, show you some of the sites here, take a trip into Presque Isle, which is about 12-15 miles from here. Again, this property is 45 acres, about 1,300 feet on the road, 2,600 feet on the brook. Excellent soils pretty much all over this property. Price is $60,000, and that's US dollars in case you're coming across the border here a mile away. And then the taxes are under $400 a year. So it's an affordable piece of property, beautiful, great soil, great quality of property. So let's go check out Fort Fairfield and some more of Aroostook County. The land's about 1/3 of a mile to the north of this location right here. And right here we're at a interesting boat landing facility on a place called Netto Lake, or Netto Pond. I'm gonna take a walk down there and I'll tell you a little bit about this. It's a pretty walk in here to Netto Lake. And this is kind of an impoundment within the stream here, and I'll show you this on the map as well. I've been told that this is a pretty decent brook trout fishery, although it's not well known. There was a limestone mine here many years ago. It was discovered back in the late 1800s, and this lime was used to sweeten up the soils here in the fields that they farm for potatoes. It's no longer in use today, but this pond has been established as a place to paddle around and catch a few wild brook trout. Okay, we're down here by the boat landing here on Meadow Lake, and there's a little information here, places to park. Parking for anglers only and boaters. It's not a campsite, but it is a public access point.
The town of Fort Fairfield has some nice architecture. The public library was built in 1912 with a $10,000 grant from Andrew Carnegie. Directly across from the library is the Blockhouse Museum. The museum is a 1976 replica of the original structure located on the banks of the Aroostook River. This served to prevent transport of lumber into Canada during the bloodless Aroostook War of 1839. The long main street of Fort Fairfield has a number of businesses, a park, and other historic buildings and homes. Fort Fairfield is also home to the annual Potato Blossom Festival with the largest parade in Maine. Winter does not have to be spent indoors. Just 12 miles from the property is the Nordic Heritage Center. This facility includes a world-class cross-country ski and biathlon venue with a stadium and a lodge, a team wax building, and 20 kilometers of cross-country ski trails. Other features of the facility are a 6,500 square foot lodge, 20 miles of marked mountain biking trails, a 30-point biathlon range, a visitors center with ski rentals, 2.5 kilometers of lighted trail, and 1 kilometer paved roller ski loop. Downhill skiers will appreciate the relative short lines at both Quaggy Joe Ski Center in Presque Isle and in Big Rock Ski Resort in Mars Hill. Quaggy Joe is only 12 miles from land, and with just 215 feet of vertical drop, it is perfect for the new skier. Big Rock, 25 miles south of the land, has nearly 1,000 feet of vertical drop. Presque Isle, also known as the Star City, is the county's largest town with approximately 9,700 people. This service center is about 16 miles from the Fort Fairfield property. The city has a commercial airport, with United Airlines having daily flights to and from Newark, New Jersey, and Washington, D.C. Presque Isle has an incredible long main street with many businesses along its length. Presque Isle is home to the Northern Light A.R. Gould Hospital, a half dozen hotels, shopping centers, restaurants, car dealers, and more to offer both local residents and visitors to Aroostook County.